As the squads of the two Champions League finalists landed in Kiev, two superficially similar but deeply different mindsets were rousing them for this most elevated of occasions in the club game. Those mindsets also reflect the deeper differences between the teams, and could yet make the difference in the game. For Liverpool, it is the knowledge that they are inferior to Real Madrid, but that their own best quality is regularly besting such sides, with all of the belief that entails. For Real, the defending champions, it is that knowledge that they are a better team, the best in this competition over the last half-decade, with the complete confidence that brings. The gold standard feat of 3 in a row would emboss that, and make them one of the two most successful sides in European Cup history, along with Real Madrid 1955-60. Such differences have led some around the Bernabeu to say key club figures think this will be the easiest big game they will have had in all of that time. The Liverpool squad, however, are said to be tuned in to that. Jurgen Klopp has his team ready to undercut any real overconfidence, to fatally compromise any complacency. Amplifying those current mindsets is something grander, the weight, or, in this case, the lift, of history. With Real Madrid having won a European record of 12 Champions Leagues and Liverpool a British record of 5, they are two of the 4 most successful clubs in the competition's annals, and both believe this is where they belong, that the grandiose trophy is really theirs. That makes this 63rd final fitting, because one of the themes of this season has been the effect of history, Giorgio Chiellini memorably articulating it after Juventus beat Tottenham Hotspur in the last 16, before Juventus felt the effects against Real themselves. It has certainly had an effect for both of these sides left. Liverpool's progress through the tournament has been relentless. Some of the players have hinted at it, but one tangible consequence of something so intangible is that, when you are amid the smoke and uncertainty of a fiery Champions League match, it does afford a crucial certainty in absolutely every action, every challenge, every pass. Think Cristiano Ronaldo's penalty against Juventus, or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's thunderbolt against Manchester City. There was no hesitation there, only full conviction. It gives a confidence, and for these two sides an ambition, a greater adventure. That has been seen in their energizing attacking football, and could yet bring another core theme of this season to a fitting peak. If there are many justified concerns about the financial direction of European football, one of the consequences is that it really has become the great primetime show that so many of the powers behind that direction desire. The entertainment has only escalated. Every round has seen ever more rousing matches, the sensational drama going up with the stakes. This tournament will be remembered for many standout moments. The 2017-18 campaign will be remembered for so much, from Ronaldo's bicycle kick to Liverpool's evisceration to Roma's comeback. It also evokes grander memories. If the effect of history has been a theme of this season, another effect has been the type of goal scoring that hasn't been seen in decades, since the European Cup's golden age. The current goals per game ratio of the knockout stages is 3.46, a figure on a par with when Real Madrid were first winning 5 in a row in the 1950s. One potential consequence, however, is something not seen since Liverpool's own last win. It is 13 years since the final saw both sides score more than once, that 3-3 with Milan in Istanbul. In other words, 13 years since the final has seen the kind of show this season has offered so regularly. All seems set up for that kind of occasion, and it was what the winning of the 2017-18 Champions League could come down to. Liverpool train at Anfield ahead of Champions League final. The utter arrogance that emanates from Real's quality and history means that, if the game does become the kind of shootout that has characterized this campaign, they would always fully back themselves to win it. It is why, all things being equal, they should of course be back to win this final. It wouldn't take too much for this match to proceed exactly as Vicente Del Bosque predicted, and to end up as a 4-1 Madrid win. That justified arrogance is just another positive of possessing the quality of Cristiano Ronaldo, Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, as well as the recent experience and longer history of so many European Cups. One potential negative is that such arrogance can almost blind them to possible problems. It brought Real right to the brink against both Juventus and Bayern Munich, in a way it never had before in the last half-decade. Real's overwhelming arrogance has carried them through. AFP, Zidane's side still came through those games, though, with the very fact they did it on knife edge when they needed to, only further bolstering that belief, making them even more sure of persisting with how they play. That could mean that, as against Juventus and Bayern, they are too sure of themselves to specifically come up with a plan for what Liverpool can do to them, and the danger is that Klopp's side pose a threat that has specifically caused Zidane's defense far greater problems before. Back in the 2015-16 season at Roma, Mohamed Salah repeatedly found the gap between Sergio Ramos and Marcelo in their last 16 match and ferociously exploited it with his pace like no one else before to create multiple chances, but this was just at a stage when he wasn't yet taking such chances, when he wasn't the relentless finisher he now is. He should have had about 6 goals. He instead just had a nightmare, and everyone else seemed to have proof that he would always be such a frustrating player. That alone is how things can change, and it can change Saturday's final. Klopp must once again extract the most from his players. Getty, Klopp spotted something extra in Salah and enhanced it. If he is in anything like this season's form, Liverpool could actually make this Real's most difficult final, especially since their wider attacking qualities seem almost designed to specifically hurt the Spanish side. That form is another decisive factor, though, arguably much more so than with any other final. Klopp's greatest quality is motivating players to momentous levels of performance. That is why Real should be much more concerned than they are, since that is how the German sides have so often beaten notionally better teams. Except, that is, in finals. If Real are the competition's great winners, always finding a way, Klopp is perceived as the great loser on such occasions, always ultimately losing his way. He has suffered defeat in 5 of his last 6 finals. It's the type of thing that gets a lot of play when it involves games of such stratospheric stakes, but a more mundane explanation is it is merely coincidence and a consequence of facing wealthier sides. Overcoming all of that, however, is still the challenge for this game. It's what he needs to rouse himself for, to rouse his team for, as Real look to rise to the gold standard 3 in a row. It might yet make this final one of a kind. Follow The Independent Sport on Instagram here, for all of the best images, videos and stories from around the sporting world. Reuse content.